Tyler Shough impresses and Saints win. What comes next? Ladies and gentlemen, Nick Underhill, the backdrop, New Orleans football. We are talking Saints. We are talking Panthers. We are talking Tyler Shough. We are talking 20% off the store. Boom. You want this hat? Well, you can't have this hat. This is my hat. But you can get a hat just like it. The entire store is 20% off. Saints win, you win for 2 weeks. All right. My sales department said 10% off. The Saints won by 10. 10% off for 1 week. I said, get out of my face. 20% off for 2 weeks from now until November 23rd, whenever the Falcons Saints kick off in the Dome. 20% off. Get there. Get your merch. We don't have a lot left. Get it.
In New Orleans football presented by PJ's Coffee. The Saints won a game 17-7 over Carolina. Big win for them. Tyler Shough looked great in his second start of his career. Really put together a nice game. Really built some promise out there in Carolina. And the Saints get their second win of the season. So positive vibes for this.
Wasn't just a win. Like, they dominated the game. James, they only scored 17 points. Quit slobbering. Okay? Look at the YPP, the yards per play. Watch the game. The Saints went on an 8-minute, 14-play drive to end the game. They dominated the game. All right? Carolina was gifted a touchdown by Brian Brzee and Justin Reed. If it wasn't for that, it would have blanked them. Okay, they would have rolled up into Flair country and blanked them. So, dominated. And this was way different than the Giants game. Giants game, 5 turnovers. You know, we talked about it at the time. It's like, Saints started slow again, 5 turnovers. You can't have that all the time. Like, it's a win, but you know, you want to see them actually like win a game, go through adversity, win a game. Because they won the game, not because it was gifted or whatever. And the Saints won this game.
This team heading into the bye week, and I think it was a needed victory for them. Obviously, there's impact to the draft status or whatever. I don't think you really worry about that right now. Get some positive momentum.
Controversial yet brave opinion. I've been thinking about this. I would rather have like the 5th or 6th pick than the 1st pick in the draft. Now, I'm sure some of y'all, your brain might be leaking out of your ear holes after hearing something like that. But the problem with the 1st overall pick is you better take either a quarterback or you better take someone who is a star. You better be taking Myles Garrett. You better be taking whoever, like the next, defensive player of the year or whatever is. You don't see running backs get taken 1st overall anymore. You don't see wide receivers get taken 1st overall that much anymore. You don't see any of that. Tight ends, it's usually one of 3 positions. It's usually a defensive end, a offensive lineman, or a quarterback. An offensive lineman being a tackle. But if you go down to the 5th-ish area, now all of a sudden you could take a wide receiver. You could take a running back. You could take a linebacker. You could even take a safety. You could take really anything. You could take the best player available. You're not pigeonholed into forcing a position or a player. And right now, where we're sitting, the Saints aren't going to take a quarterback. So then what? You're forced to take Ruben Bain? You're forced to take whoever you think the best edge player is? You don't really want to tackle. You just took Fuaga and Banks. I mean, I guess you could take one and move, Banks to or Fuaga to guard, I guess. But is that what you want to do? The 1st overall pick? Wouldn't you rather be down a little bit to where all the options are available? You can take Downs from Ohio State, the safety. You can take Carnell Tate from Ohio State, the wide receiver. You can take Jordan Tyson if you want, the wide receiver from Arizona State. You can look into a multitude of players. All right, so this obsession with the 1st overall pick, really think about what it means. Like, what is the first? When you say I want the Saints to have the 1st overall pick, who are you envisioning? Because if it's not Fernando Mendoza or Ruben Bain, I'm not totally sure what you need the 1st overall pick for, unless you're thinking, well, we'll trade down, whatever. But it takes 2 to tango. Like you can't put your chickens in that basket, right?
They go into the bye, they can work on fixing some stuff, and then they come out of it and they host Atlanta on the other side of that bye. So big game for them, big win for them. And if you're looking to buy a new car, make sure you're buying it from my guy, Matt Bowers. He will get you the best prices, best customer care, best of everything. Make sure you get up
What a segue, and I ain't talking Paul Blart. That was crazy. We were going to the bye. We were talking Atlanta. And now all of a sudden, I'm in the middle of a Kia Soul being sold to me by Matt Maurer. You know what also is kind of crazy about the Atlanta situation? So talk about a bad spot for Atlanta. Atlanta, they played in Berlin. We got beat by the Colts in overtime. Tough loss. Then they have to travel back, and they don't have a bye. They play Carolina. So Atlanta goes from Berlin back, plays a divisional game. Then they have to go on the road again, no bye. They have to go on the road and play another divisional game against the Saints, whereas the Saints are coming off of the bye week. That's a huge advantage, scheduling spot. That's a huge advantage for the Saints. I'm not saying the Saints are going to win, whatever, but just looking forward, that's kind of a crazy spot. And you see these. It's a little more normal now, but you see teams don't take a bye after the international travel. I don't know the science behind it, but that ain't easy for Atlanta, a reeling Falcons team, to be rolling into New Orleans 2 weeks after Berlin and a week after Carolina.
Man, Tyler Shuck really, I think, put together some real hope, and we're gonna be on this through basically the whole entire freaking first half of this show, because I think nothing else is more important than that. And
yeah, he is a huge domino in the whole thing, because if Shuck is good, that changes the draft. If it changes the draft, then all of a sudden it changes who we have next year in the building. It changes the direction of all kind of stuff. And listen, it was one game. It does not mean that Tyler Shough is Drew Brees. It does not mean that he's no doubt about it, 100% future Hall of Famer, whatever. It doesn't even mean that he's going to be good next year, right? All it means is he played really well. And you got to take one step before you take 2 steps, before you take 3 steps, before you take 4 steps. I used this metaphor previously, but it's like running a marathon. You don't hang a banner because you finish that first mile in whatever time. But finishing that first mile in whatever time is the most important thing to finishing the marathon in whatever time. You can't finish the marathon without finishing that first mile. In the grand scheme of things, mile 1 is not that big of a deal. But for what it is, it absolutely does play a role. And that's how this is. We don't need to downplay it or overplay it. We don't have to have qualifiers of, well, it was against Carolina. Well, it was this. Well, we'll see this. Just take it what it was, give them a B+ or whatever, and we move on. I'd give them an A. And we move on. And on to the bye week, on to Atlanta. And then we grade that game. And then we go on from there. But for his second start, going from LA across the country to Carolina, incredibly impressed in what I saw. And he answered a lot of questions too. He made a lot of throws with pressure in his face, faced a lot of free rushers, navigated the pocket, looked downfield, didn't panic, had the arm, pushed the ball. I mean, you get 10 out of 10 no notes from me.
We saw some glimmers of hope last week, and we saw him today. One game doesn't define a career, positively, negatively, whatever. But all you can do is kind of play the games in the order that they come up. And I thought last week against the Rams, the circumstances weren't even like there for him to really put it together, show what he can do. I thought it was kind of an unfair evaluation of him. In this game today, man, he was doing it. I mean, he was operating on third down, elevating them on those gotta have it situations that I don't think they were getting before. He was navigating the pocket well. He looked confident in there. There was no panic. There was no jitter. It was just Tyler Shough standing in there making plays, being aggressive, going down the field. I don't have anything to nitpick about it.
Me and Nick are in lockstep, as they say, with this one. And I've watched a lot of football in my day, and there's certain games, certain players, certain whatever, where it's 3rd and 6, they drop back, and you're like, I might as well just change the channel because they're not converting this. Like, you just know. Like, you just have, bad quarterbacks like Bryce Young, Michael Penix. Like, you just know, like, this isn't going to be good, right? And then there's some quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield at times where you're like, I don't know how, but they're about to convert this. It's 3rd and 11. Watch this. Tom Brady, players like that, where you can just feel it. as the game got on 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, I was like, okay, well, let's see what he does. Let's see how we complete this. I felt fine. I felt totally fine. I did not have that like, we might as well just punt. We might as well just punt.
I thought it was an outstanding performance. The obvious thing here is by the end of the season, we want to know whether they need to draft a guy or not. And it's too soon to say that after one game, but holy crap, like this was about as good of a game that you could hope for from your rookie quarterback in his second start. 19 for 27, 282, 2 touchdowns, just operated confidently, put everything together and was playing well. And, I've been out looking at these guys. I went out and I watched Fernando Mendoza in person. I watched Dante Moore in person. I watched Ty Simpson in person. I went and watched Lenore Sellers in person. I've seen Carson Beck in person. I've seen them all. Like, I've been going out there and I've been looking at them because that's what this season's about. Like, when you get to the end of it, do you have your guy or do you not? And do you need to draft one? So, like, when we're talking about this stuff, like, we, like NOF, like, we actually have a full scope of like what we're saying because we've been putting in the work to make these comparisons. And like the thing where I'm at with it, even before today's game, is that out of all the guys I've seen, I went and saw Julian Sayin too from Ohio State.
Stud.
Out of all the guys that he's not draft eligible, but I was up there to see Reese. And that,
yeah, by the way, a lot people keep messaging me and saying we should draft Jeremiah Smith, the wide receiver from Ohio State. He's also not draft eligible. So that
brings me to my point. Out of all these guys that I've went and looked at,
Arvell Reese is a freak. The linebacker from Ohio State, he is an absolute monster.
There hasn't been a single one where I was like, I have to have him with the top 5 pick, except for Arvell Reese, the pass rusher from Ohio State.
He's an animal.
Linebacker from Ohio State, can pass rush, can rush the passer.
So good.
Can kind of do everything. A Jeremy Collins type prospect. And the thing about it is if you get to the end of...
You say Jeremy Collins or Jamie Collins? Jamie Collins, he was the former linebacker for the Patriots. He played for a couple teams, but the Patriots is where he was really good. Southern Miss. When he went to USM.
This season, and you don't have to draft a quarterback. And, like, let's not even get to the point where, like, yes, you have your guy. Let's just say he's good enough, like, to be your guy for now. If you can get to that point, you can keep building your team with a benefit. If you get to the end of the season, you have your guy, like, oh my God, you're so far ahead in this rebuild. It would be unbelievable. We don't know that yet.
Let me ask you this. I mean, 100%, I agree. And yeah, it's been 2 games. If the draft was tomorrow, the Saints are not taking a quarterback. I'll tell you that. So if this just stays on the path, we're good to go. I don't want to take a quarterback. There's not a single quarterback that I'm like, can't miss, got to take them, generational prospect, whatever. I am totally fine with passing on this class, getting someone like Arvell Reese or Caleb Downs or whoever, and just getting a superstar player at a position that we need, and then rocking and rolling and moving on. I'm more than happy with that. So hopefully Tyler keeps playing well, and we don't have to try and figure out if Dante Moore is the guy, or Fernando Mendoza, or Ty Simpson, or whoever, and we can just take whatever stud is available.
Obviously. But what Tyler Shough did today is he showed he can play in this league against an NFL defense. He can operate. He can elevate you on 3rd down.
Oh, I know what I was going to ask you. I think I said, let me ask you, and I didn't ask you a question. I was going to say, right now, if you had to bet at the end of the season, or, whatever, just like at the end of the season, if you're building a franchise or going into next season, however you want to phrase it, who would you rather have? Tyler Shough, Michael Penix, or Bryce Young? I mean, if you just frame it like that, you are way ahead of the rebuild, right? If you're like, all right, yeah, I'm cool with Tyler Shough over Bryce Young or Michael Penix or whatever, all of a sudden it's like, sweet, rock and rolling with that. And then Atlanta's behind the 8 ball, Carolina's behind the 8 ball, and the Saints have probably a top 5 pick with a quarterback they're comfortable with. Second year into a new, a system that everyone's comfortable with Kellen Moore's system and Brandon Staley's system. You start bringing in some more of the Kellen Moore players, some more of the Brandon Staley players, the archetypes. I've been screaming it, but if this keeps going at this pace, And there's a little bit of momentum and a little bit of good here and there. I'm not saying win out, but I'm just saying, like, you win some games, lose some games, whatever, have good performances. People are taking steps. You nail the draft next year, and all of a sudden the Saints could be a very young, very exciting team.
And you can put together a game and you can win a game. And I'm going to say you can win a game because of him. I think they won this game. There were a lot of guys that played well, but look, those third downs you're converting, like some of the plays he's making, at least in part, he contributed to the reason why they won the game. And
right. He was not a game manager in this game. Like, this wasn't just like, oh, he just kind of game managed and whatever. Like, this was, he was absolutely a big part of the reason why we won this game.
That's going to be the thing that, like, you have to be able to do that if you are, like, the franchise quarterback instead of just like an operator who's kind of around. Like, you aren't winning because of him, you aren't losing because of him. Like, you can get by with a guy like that too. Shuck showed today he can lift you up and you can win in moments, and those moments help you eventually win the game because of him. And man, that's just such a huge piece of the puzzle. And I'm excited to see where it goes from here. I mean, this is the most positive I've felt like about the quarterback in a while. I mean, Rattler obviously had the good game against New England. You know, it's not a compared thing. Like, I think it's stupid to sit there and do that. Either you have the guy or you don't. They've moved on. This is a guy that's playing. I'm not going to spend the whole year making qualifiers every time we talk about a guy. Yeah. But look, we're looking at him. We're doing the work. We're out there scouting him. We're out there making the comparisons. And damn it, I'm telling you, like, this right here is, if you can do this, like, you're good. You're good. You don't.
Hell yeah. You do this week in, week out, you are a well above average NFL quarterback. I'll tell you that. And after the game, I went and walked down to one of my favorite Chinese restaurants, Dian Zen, down on the corner of Royal. Had the first hot pot of the season. Man, so good. But as I was walking down there, I was kind of thinking the same thing. I was like, man, what a weird feeling. Like, this is as positive. I mean, this is as positive as it gets. Dominated a game defensively and offensively. You got the quarterback who has been the question mark from everyone since he was drafted. Put in one hell of a performance. You go into the bye week. So now you get 2 weeks of this. You go into the bye week. Literally everyone answered the questions. Chris Olave answered the questions. The trade deadline's already happened. We did what we had to do. We got 3 picks. Like, it's almost like, man, this is kind of going perfectly in the last, week. Like, this is a perfect scenario. It's a perfect scenario to trade deadline, good, worked out. This game, amazing, worked out. Tyler Shough, good. Chris Olave, good. Juwan Johnson, good. Defense, good. Run defense, good. It's like, man, okay. Oh, we have a bye week. Now you get 2 weeks to kind of go through this. Oh, and you have Atlanta coming to town in their crazy schedule spot. Oh, and you might have a top 5 pick to just a little cherry on top. You can get Arvell Reese, or you can get possibly the best defensive player in the draft with your first round pick. This is sweet.
I have to take one. You can look other places. You can build your team other ways. Got to see this like 5-6 more times. But this is a very, very promising start to it. And just to see if I'm tripping or not, we're going to bring in Trip from Carolina to keep the conversation going.
All right, we're going to end our video there. Yeah. Tyler Shough may have just he's definitely slowed down the amount of Indiana football I have to watch, for sure. All right, ladies and gentlemen, what do you think? What are you thinking? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.